To navigate the mountains or the city lanes, Yezdi has launched a new bike, and we're talking about the Yezdi Adventure. But to know more about it, specifically about the features, what's new, what has been reimagined, what has been retained, I'm joined by co-founder of Classic Legends, Anupam Thareja. Thank you so much, Anupam, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
As always, it's very lovely to have you on CNBC-TV18. And as always, I'd like to start by asking if you could take us through the top features, your favorite features of the new Yezdi Adventure.
I think first I want to set a tone that whatever we do is classic. So we are here, our job is to add performance to classic, period. That's what we do. And then we contemporize the classic. So this is what we have done. This is an adventure bike. As you know, adventure is for multi-use, from dirt tracks to highways. So off-road and on-road in one bike. So you can traverse to the city or you can go to the mountains in a heartbeat. Now if you look at what we have done in this, we were the adventure bike of the year 2024. To come up from that, we had to add some features. So the mechanical features we added from the engine to the sprocket and perfected it. The new features we added is traction control, and this is a patent pending adjustable visor which you can move. So people stand and ride this bike, or they sit on a highway and tuck it in when they ride the bike. So for both, this is the feature. But I think what I want you to focus upon is the drop dead gorgeous design. So the money shot is here, which is the twin headlamps, which makes it look gorgeous. That's for lighting up your nights. The back is actually lighting up your stories. It's a twin tail lamp. So we got the design in, we got the performance in, we got the tech in without breaking the bank. So that is what Yezdi is all about, all of heart. Yezdis are the original trailblazers and adventure bikes which came in the world, and now we give you this beauty. From winning 2024, I am reasonably sure we have a winner on our hand this time.
This time as well. But most importantly, we've seen a lot of new offerings coming from the House of Classic Legends. We saw BSA come in, we had the Java launch, and now the Yezdi. So there's been something for everyone in every segment particularly. But the market share is what we're still struggling with. The penetration is about 5% if we go by some numbers. If we don't go by some numbers, then also it's about in the same range. What is the ambition with this particular offering? Where do you see this going forward in terms of market share?
So these are segments within the classic market. So first of all, classic itself is a part of the market. Right? It may be a small part of the market from a volume point of view, but it's a large part of the market from a value point of view, even larger from a profit point of view, right, and frankly huge in terms of a value point of view. So you have to see this market in that range. So if you start doing market shares of somebody like us, it will always look small, right? But if you look at the segments which we are getting into, so we'll enter a segment, we'll create it, and we'll lead it. Now, depending on how that segment grows, your ultimate market share lands up. So for example, we went into the bobber category, we became market leaders. Now, when the bobber segment, which is growing, keeps on growing at a particular pace, you will gain shares. Finally, market share is nothing but a combination of three things. It's your product, which is the most important. The second is your pricing, or the positioning as we call it. And the third is the distribution. So our first aim was to get the products out. So if you see last 6-7 months, we've launched 5-6 products. Next few months, you'll see another 5-6 products. With that, our product portfolio will be complete. Simultaneously, we're building a distribution. We're going to have 500 distribution points and service points before the festive season. Right? And we're going to launch within this segment, a larger selling bike. This is a small segment within the classic market. 6 to 7% of the classic market is adventure. There, with this kind of an offering where we have just disrupted the market, both from design, from technology, pricing, right? We've just disrupted the market. So you become a leader. So the leadership or the market share gain in this segment happens segment by segment.
Yeah.
So if you see, since we've started talking, we are still a very young company, right? We are finding a mark, we are finding a positioning, but I think the comfort is that the products are phenomenal. The love for the products, the amount of complaints or the amount of issues which people think of a new company, we are actually probably ranking the best in this segment in terms of quality. You have seen, we have won all the awards, Bike of the Year, Reviewer's Choice of the Year. So the product is getting traction. We are building a distribution, so we'll have 500 before Diwali, and the pricing you have anyway seen, right, or positioning you have anyway seen. So a combination of this I am reasonably hopeful that we will talk a different language very soon.
So 500 dealerships before Diwali is the outlook for this year.
Yes.
The last time we spoke, we discussed about $120 million being earmarked going forward for expansion. How much of it is allocated for dealerships, and what are the other allocations you're making with that?
Great. So let's talk about this 1,000 crores which we talk about. 350 crores we've spent, which is largely on products. The next money is going to be spent on global distribution and in distribution. Of course, marketing and the few products which we are talking about. Since we are not burning cash, everything is going into growth. Right? So that's a good part. So that's what the math is. 350 done, and the remaining will be done over the course of this year.
Right. You also spoke last time about an IPO, which could be a possibility either this year or next year. FY27 was the guidance. Are we still on track? How's the plan there?
You caught me there. If I did a guidance, I should not be giving guidances on this. But let me put it this way: IPO is we don't have any pressure, right? We don't need to do it for either raising funds or giving exits. For us, it will be the right time of the market and right time for the company. Since we have not changed our plans for volumes, since we are actually more comfortable and confident looking at the quality and the acceptance of our products, I don't see any change in any thought process.
Right. On the leadership front, we saw multiple changes happen in the last 1 year. There's the executive council that has come in. We also saw Ashish part ways. Now, what's the plan for succession going forward? Will there be a CEO, like all good companies need a CEO, or will the executive council continue to run?
So, two-wheeler, if you see, is a very interesting segment, how it operates. But the short answer for you is yes, of course, there will be a CEO.
Timeline? Is there a timeline for it?
We have a very, very effective executive council. So it's the right person. There is, first who, then what, right? So this is a...
So the hunt is on.
Yeah. This is a very, very competitive, very complex, but very passionate and a lovely sector to head, right? So I think the right gentleman can be from internal, can be from external, is in the wings. But
right.
soon you will say that.
Coming back to the 1,000 crore being earmarked, is there a priority list where the lion's share of that could be spent apart from products?
Distribution. I think the largest amount of money will go into distribution because, as I said, one of the pillars to get your market share right apart from product is distribution. So we are expanding as we speak about. As we speak right now, we are expanding in 7 countries. By the end of the year, we'll have 24.
Which would be these countries?
The larger ones are, of course, US, Australia, New Zealand, Japan. We just started speaking to Latin American countries, Mexico, Argentina, Brazil, North Africa, but it's largely Western markets, right? From that point of view, and Southeast Asian developed markets. So developed markets, which are the BSA markets, that's your first. Then there is Java markets, and finally Yezdi markets, which is the Southeast Asia. So a large amount of our effort and bandwidth is going into distribution.
Great. Thank you so much for speaking with us, and congratulations and good luck for this.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Really
you so
appreciate
much.
it.
For more news and updates, all you need to do is follow CNBC TV18 on all of our digital platforms.